All right. Coming in a little hot, but anyways, we're live right now. Oh, whoa, your speakers. If you want to put yourself on mute real quick. Um, Unfortunately, the end of that Milan game was not great whatsoever. Just a total collapse by them. After completely outplaying Roma the entire match, Milan were up 2-0. Bunch of substitutes come on, Gabbia being one of them, and set piece defending just truly horrific. The one thing that I was worried about when it comes to Milan is their set pieces, and my goodness, today was a grade A example of what one of their real negatives are and continue to be, and it cost them 2 points here in a week in which Inter dropped points, in a week in which Lazio dropped points, Juve kept pace. Napoli won their match today. This one feels more like a loss than it does a win, Matt, because this was inexcusable to drop something like this. Plenty of games left the rest of the season, but this was a very frustrating one.
Yeah, this one hurts. Yeah, this one hurts. I think you look, you bring in the subs to get the second goal. You counter quickly. Pobega gets the goal. Rafael Leao assists, excuse me, and you're flying. I mean, this is midway through the 80th minute, 80 to 90 minutes, and the game, you just napped, right? This is what the game is. You're napping via set piece. Milan, that's kind of been a concern for a lot of fans, right? Because they are a little undersized. We love Kalulu, we love Tomori, but we are undersized. And when you throw in the fact that Roma are a team that I think had the most goals scored via set pieces, or 40% of their goals have been scored via set pieces. I don't know if it's this year's stat or last year's, but regardless, they're dangerous. They have those profiles that can get up, latch onto those headers. And we saw Ibanez, we saw Matic. Those are two physical guys, two guys that are very tall. And when you're napping on set pieces, this is what happens. This is the result. And you don't kill off games. And 2-0, you think you killed off the game. But I'm talking like finish the game, right? You can't give them life. And 87th minute, I saw 5 minutes go on that scoreboard, and I was like, something doesn't seem right. I think we're conceding. And sure enough, Milan only could take the point here, which is very bad. Which is a very bad and disappointing result, given how we dominated this game. Roma took forever to get out of the defensive shell to actually do something going forward. And for the better part of 70 minutes, 80 minutes, this game was hurting. This Milan just didn't finish off, and that's 2 points lost. That's tough.
Yeah. Listen, definitely deserve Mario. What's up? Love you, brother. Listen, I can handle stuff like this. This isn't. I'm not down in the dumps about this. I kind of don't let football get to me like it used to when there's disappointing results, and there's not too much to speak on. I mean, there were positives in this game. I think that when you drop points like this, it's certainly frustrating. But we've seen Milan overcome annoying results like this before. This isn't really. I think this is more of the fans being upset than the players get. And when I mean upset, I mean sort of this panic mode that the whole sky is falling. They're not winning the title. I don't believe. Yeah, they did nothing in open play. Sharma's right. My guy Sharma joining us from YouTube.
Yeah, they didn't like.
They were awful, but Milan again as well did not
have possession. It was like that Simpsons meme where the guy Milan were just passing the ball back and forth in their own backfield. Roma had nothing. Like they had nothing going forward towards Milan.
It's one of those games where you take advantage of, where you are superior. And this is what I said it with Wayne in the preview. I said it with you in the preview. I said it in the betting preview. Set pieces worry me. They do. And I would not be shocked if Roma got a draw out of this. It's the way it happened was insane.
Yeah.
Did not envision Milan blowing 2 goals in this. I think Pioli got his substitutes incorrect. I don't really see how a couple of them didn't make sense. Tonali, it's frustrating when he gets a yellow card and gets suspended because he's yelling at the referee, regardless of what he thought his opinion was of the call. Again, it was really poor set piece defending. One on Tomori, one on Kalulu. On the first one, Tatarusano, I'm sorry, the reactions are horrendous. He's too slow to be at this level. Yeah. He can't even come out and punch the ball out on the second one. He's too hesitant on these. And I got people telling me it had nothing to do with him. It does have something to do with him. That stuff matters, okay? Is it all on him? No. The singular defending by Tomori, by Kalulu, really bad.
And they had a good game. Like they've been playing well. It's It's frustrating because, again, like, I think Milan did everything right up until the 87th minute. Like, there was nothing I was pinpointing aside
No.
from some of the brash fouls. I think there was a foul on Tomori. Like, there was no need for him.
Leao's foul.
Yeah, like those things. But like that's splitting hairs at that point. Milan did
Yeah.
everything they needed to get the result here. And yeah, for it to be in this fashion, like I said, it's just disappointing. There's no way around it, given that, the teams that we're trying to separate ourselves from, yes, but also chase, got results that they needed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't take too much away from this. There's so many games left for Milan. There really are. To kind of hamper on this one and to just surmise this, basically what we just did. There's
Yeah,
nothing else to say. Like, it was a collapse. These
yeah.
things happen. Andre Gibson has a comment. Had Benacer not been on that yellow, he might have stayed in longer. Yeah, I agree with that. There were silly fouls on the outside area, but like where they're starting these set pieces, that's all Roma was kind of like playing for. This was just a classic shit house to get something out of this.
Yeah.
Any result for Roma here
Like
is
a textbook
essentially a win.
Mourinho type Roma
Yeah,
result.
and Mo wasn't even there on the
Yeah.
touchline for this. Again, I think this was just fully deserved by Roma at this point. In terms of taking advantage of their opportunities.
The
Like,
very
this
few
is
advantage opportunities they had. Yeah.
this is football, and people like to say like this wasn't deserved off of 90 minutes. That this is the way a lot of people like to say, but that's just not true. Football is about opportunities and taking those opportunities when they're in front of you. And the same applies to life and all things. If you're not taking, like Tommaso Pobega, Matt, I think that's another perfect example of today. Someone who comes off the bench, regardless of limited time, he comes in, he scores. Again, if Pobega does not have that, then we are not leveled. Then we're looking at 0 points. It's a lost week. It's a lost week for Milan. Absolutely. Was it one of the easier opponents? No. Roma is still a quality Europa League side, but when it comes to the position in which Milan was in, Inter dropping points, Lazio dropping points, Juve again, like I was mentioning, and Napoli winning,
Yeah.
you can't have that. You can't have that. It's an inexcusable type of result. One that doesn't hamper them too much. They still did some good things. Midweek against Torino is where they turn their heads next. Again, Tonali suspended against Lecce. So we'll see some different midfielders in there. Hopefully, we get some sort of change. Maybe there's a change at goalkeeper. Maybe Davis Vasquez potentially gets a start in one of these next few matches. I think it'll probably be Tatarusanu come midweek, especially with this Mirante stuff up in the air, whether he goes to Spezia and Sportiello comes in. There's just so many moving parts and pieces with this. And again, yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's just a disappointing result. I've seen them with great Milan sides. I've seen them with awful Milan sides. It's just the way football is. I think people want to just see a reaction and an angrily reaction out of this. For me, I've kind of stuck to the same point after the way I've seen Napoli play all season. Milan have a lot of work to do when it comes to winning and getting back into that Scudetto race. Right now, I don't see it. You can't be doing stuff like this. What's going to happen now is when Milan lose points like this against a side like this, Roma, Matt, against a side like Roma, Matt, you have to step up in like the Juve games a must win now. The Milan derbies a must win. And honestly, we all know it at this point. With the Napoli away fixture, you have to win. That's do or die for the title, most likely. That's going to come down to. So there's so much left. And again, it's really going to have to be the Cremonese games, the defeat to Torino, Sassuolo draw against Atalanta. Maybe that one's not the worst. It's away to them. A lot of teams drop those points. It's just the way. Like if you said like if this was like a back and forth.
It's the manner in which the 2-2 happened. If you just saw the scoreline and you just saw 2-2, I'd be like, tough game. The pitch conditions were not the best, obviously, for both sides, right? Very sopping wet, rainy game. A lot of cards were given. Yeah, and you would think like, 2-2, you know what? It's not the best result. Roma, a respectable team, of course. You got to respect them. They play strengths on, and on paper, they actually do have a really good side. It's just weird how they utilize their attackers and how they utilize a lot of their players. Like Pellegrini, I actually like Pellegrini. I think he's the heart of that. He's the best player on that team, in my opinion. Be better than Dybala, in my opinion. That's just me.
Staying on the pitch, at this
Zaniolo, from a leadership standpoint, the way he can impact games. Dybala really didn't do
Zaniolo.
anything today. Zaniolo didn't do anything today. Like, these guys didn't do anything. I don't know if that's how they're utilized. It could be, but they didn't do anything. Tammy Abraham is a good striker, but again, it's these moments, right, that Milan were sleeping. And I think people are going to point out too, we can go into more like a player ratings, top 3 players, top flops, whatever you want to do here, Martino. But I think that people are saying, well, Pioli got the subs wrong. People wouldn't be saying this, that subs were wrong, had we not given up the 2 goals. The guys that we had on, Franks, but that was a good sub, wasn't it? Right? You have to preserve Benacer. You can't have both Benacer and Tonali out for the next game, right? So Pobega comes on, he gets a goal. That's a good sub. I mean, the guys that we conceded the 2 set-piece goals, Tomori, Kalulu, Patursanu, like, are these guys that are on the bench?
Yeah.
No. Like,
I think it was the Gabbia instead of Chow substitute because of what Chow has shown.
I guess.
Now, I'm saying this is coming from people that like me, like, listen, it's always easy to say in hindsight. I usually give predictions on who I think substitutes are going to be. I thought it was it was an interesting move. I understood tactically the switch from Brahim at the 10 with Pobega onto a 3-man midfield. I understood that. I got that. I just didn't think that would happen. Pobega comes on, he scores. It's great. It's 2-0. You would think Milan would ride that match out. They didn't. It was just bad. And it's just, that's also what happens when you also put on young, inexperienced players on. They end up losing matches like that. These are growing pain type of matches.
Wasn't Kyer available in a game like this?
I think he was supposed to come back, but it looks like now Wednesday. But I think this is where again, Rade Krunic comes in. Rade doesn't make the mistakes that have been made in this match.
I'm talking on set pieces. If we're saying
no, I know. Well, I'm saying to concede the set pieces, to allow these stupid fouls instead of retaining possession, in which you hope your midfielders to do. It was just they started getting panicky, and it was bad. It was just a bad performance, and it happens again. What people like to go to is to say we saw Juve lose matches like. Juve used to lose crazy matches when they were winning 10 straight league titles, 9 straight league titles. Okay. Yeah. They would lose against Chievo, bottom fodder sides that are just, you would never imagine.
They would go on those runs.
Like exactly. And it's not to say Milan is incapable of doing that either. I mean, we've had some great wins this year. We've played great against good sides. We're playing well in the Champions League. There's still that lack of consistency because the overall squad is not fully there. That it's just not, and it's not excuses. They should have won this, but this is what it's not that shocking to me. They're gonna drop. They're gonna continue to drop points like this. There's no excuse for it. I think that there just needs to be a shakeup. There needs to be an addition of some veteran leadership and voices here on the pitch. Where we have Ranks and Pobega on there, Gabbia and Charlotte De Ketelare. These are the substitutes. These are all very young, inexperienced players. Whether or not that's an excuse for it, it's hard to see out games like that. They don't necessarily know how to do that. When we used to see Milan do that with the younger side, like Kessie used to have these growing pains. Benacer, even his first season, tons of yellow cards. Tonali used to do the same. I'm just saying I've seen this before. And I'm not that shocked. I don't think this puts a huge dent into their top 4 chase. They didn't drop any points pretty much to anyone behind them. But as far as Scudetto goes, this was horrendous. Because
I think the one thing you can look at is people are mentioning the strength of schedule coming up, and that's fair, right? We have a lot of games. This comes with the territory of playing in the Champions League and multiple competitions. Like, you want to be playing in multiple competitions. That means you're doing well. You're competing for stuff, right? You're competing for a significant trophy, so that's fine. But it's the next game, right? Because I think now you look at it and think, well, look, if Milan do what they got to do and handle the game that they should handle, Torino, Lecce, those teams, Cremonese, they didn't do what they had to do there. Obviously, you have Napoli, Juve there. Something's got to give there. Someone's got to lose or draw. Some points are going to be dropped.
We saw Napoli finally lose, but the Juve thing, I think you're right on. I mean, 8 straight victories. I think it's just a little unsustainable.
Yeah. I mean, you take care of what you got to take care of. We're going to see a little bit of a different lineup for this Torino game. So
yes, and
you got Lecce. So you're going to probably see some rotation because some players are out. You mentioned Tonali. You mentioned certain guys that are maybe going to be inactive. Look, you win your game, the next game, I think people are going to say, yeah, the Roma game sucks, but if you pick up 2 points on Napoli or Juve, I think people are like, okay, we'll move on. We'll got to move. These results do happen. They shouldn't happen, the way they did, but they did, and you got to move on. That's just all there's to it. I think people, the emotional people are reacting on Twitter. I'm reading them. You're reading them. I get it. But
I mean, they're all there. I mean, it's people won't stop. People are like, the way it comes across sometimes when I mention this is like people blame at me. It's like an echo chamber of like anger towards the club, but it's like I don't control it.
They'll just be like, why did they do this? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know, bro. Like, I don't speak for these guys. I don't speak. Yeah, I don't speak for Stefano Pioli, man. I apologize. I don't know what to tell you when it comes to that. I don't think there's too much else left to talk about, to be honest with you.
Who are your best top 3 guys in the game for Milan?
Benacer, Tonali. It would have been one of Tomori or Kalulu prior to their allowing of those goals.
Yeah. I thought Calabria was pretty good.
I thought Calabria was fine. I think I would just stick to those 2. I don't think anyone was like clearly like third. For me, like it could be Leao. I thought Leao's play was very high IQ on the counterattack. He was very patient because he likes to go very direct sometimes, but he allowed that to open up for him on the space on the right for Pobega to leak in centrally and score that. I thought that's just showing that growth, but overall the match from him was meh. But the way Roma were setting up and playing against him, it made a lot of sense because they were sitting back so deep trying to get counters, which they got none of. It was really just set pieces. It's just you're up 2-0 and then you end up conceding 2 set pieces in that time. It's just, I think what it is, it's the emotional attachment PTSD wise for a lot of fans to see Milan lose on set pieces late in games because it happens so often and it's happened a lot. And it's like, you thought they get away from it. I'm just asking, don't do it twice in one game. But again, this is like, I'm sorry. I understand this sport. You cannot be sitting there and telling me that Tatarusanu should not have come out on any of those set pieces. I'm sorry, he's not aggressive enough. The guy clearly doesn't have enough confidence in his timing.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a punch, bro. You're like 6'6".
Yeah, I mean, this is precisely why. Like, look, I mean, we all know how valuable Mike Maignan is, but in the modern day, when people say a keeper is this or a keeper is that, there's so many different things than just punching a ball away or catching a ball when it comes to you. Like, there's organization, there's the trust from the players because the players know that they got Maignan back there. They don't have to worry so much about doing the like being absolutely immaculate because they know they have a world-class goalkeeper back there. Like, there's confidence that gets instilled in the players when they got Maignan barking orders, organizing, like educating where the player should be, and so on and so forth. And we're sorely missing that. I know we're in a good position, top 4 conversation, but man, months without Maignan, it feels like an eternity. Like, we truly need this guy back. Like, we don't have the depth on the bench defensively to compensate. Like, we have to be like absolutely razor sharp defensively to compensate for Tatarusanu. When we were with Maignan, you can afford it because of how good he is and how prolific he can be with pulling off an immaculate save when you need it. I mean, how many times did we see games that are hanging in the balance last year? 2-1, 1-0, and Maignan makes like a heroic save and we salvage and we get the win. Like, we're not getting
Sampdoria's opening match was one of them.
Yeah, we're not getting it this year. That's the frustrating part. So we need him back.
And I mean, listen, yeah, look, I'm getting people coming at me for comments on the Tatarusanu first goal. Is what it is, I guess. Call me.
Right?
I mean, right? Yeah, because everybody's experts. All these guys that hate Pobega so much, then all of a sudden Pobega comes on and scores, and there's radio silence from everybody there regarding that. Listen, 2 points drop. Not a great week for Milan. Coppa Italia, Lecce. We're still in the first half of the season.
Yeah,
it's only match.
And look, like, we haven't gotten virtually anything from CDK. We haven't gotten anything from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We've been without our star goalkeeper for months now. And
basically the whole season.
Like that's like, if you're someone who thinks like half glass full, then you'll think that way and you'll side with me on that. If you're someone's like, yeah, but we can't drop these points, we can't do this, we can't do that. Like, the teams that we've come up against that are ahead of us, like Napoli, haven't had any like fatal significant injuries to their season so far. Like,
no, it's
and I do think eventually eventually, Juventus are in their best stretch of the season. They started so miserably that they're in the best stretch of the season, and they're tied with us. They've won 8 straight games. I think 8 straight clean sheets.
Yeah,
They're
no,
tied with us.
exactly.
Milan, in my opinion, we haven't played our best football yet.
No.
We haven't had our best 11 out there on a consistent basis yet. Inter, after a difficult start, rebounded, but look what they did. They dropped points to Monza, and they almost lost that game. So I think this is just the nature of what the title race is going to be. I think last year you started to see that it was Milan-Inter, and then a little bit Napoli. Now you're seeing it's kind of like a 14 chase right now. Realistic. I mean, I know Napoli's ahead, but you get the point. Like, it feels like it's going to be one of those races where there's going to be a team that slips for 2 weeks, and all.
I mean, we'll see. It's massive this weekend. It's okay. So like we're level on points with Juve. We'd easily pull up ahead of them just next week again.
Yep.
And we dominated Juve. We played pretty well in almost every single big match.
We played very well against Napoli too. Very well against Napoli. We could have won that game.
And this is again. I'll preface by saying I don't think the title is ours. I think it would be impressive if we ended up winning it. But
it's Napoli's to lose. Obviously, I think that's pretty.
I think so, and I respect Napoli, and I think it would be great for their fans to finally see one. It's frustrating. It's just you kind of knew this was going to happen when the ownership change came in over the summer. Mm-hmm. I think that's like a very you don't invest like that. Milan were fortunate enough to win. It took to the final match day to win the title. Okay, great, incredible that you won the title.
That was a tough Sassuolo team.
And it was, and we dominated them. But sometimes you have to take a step back because some people just look at it under the window that it's, hey, Milan won the title, they're back, instead of, hey, Milan dragged it to the final match day when they had multiple opportunities throughout that stretch in which they should have expanded their lead on Inter. Granted, they did great in certain situations, but it was dramatic. They were fighting, clawing, and scratching just to get 3 points in multiple matches. Like the win against Inter in the Derby was incredible. You're coming back down from 1-0, and you're putting just so much energy and resources into those games. And they were great advancements, but they were dealing with injuries. It's just unsustainable, that type of way to win a title. You have to reinvest more in today's Asian football. And on top of it, the young type of core that you have as well. But for me, disappointing again. Nothing left to say. I think we're going to try and do a pre-match and post-match this coming week with Coppa Italia and Torino. We'll try and figure out what we're going to do for the weekly podcast. But Matt, I don't think there's anything else left to say that you want to cover here or mention.
No, I think this is you got to chalk with this one. This one hurts. It's a sour result to take given our position, but you move on. There's a lot of games left. We're still in a very good spot. We haven't played our best football yet. We're gonna get guys back. Rebic. I know people maybe divided on certain players. Rebic, Macias, Origi, Ibrahimovic, Magnon. They're gonna come back very soon. We hope with Magnon at least, because that's the kind of, in my opinion, the key guy there in that conversation. But Milan are still in a good spot. You move on. You get the result that you need. We've seen this. We've went through these roller coaster results for years.
I know you just thought that they were going to take the next step and just kind of control the league, but
no, you're right. And for fans to be upset, it's fair because that again, like Napoli are better this year. Juventus are on a great run. Like these. If it was 1-1 and Milan, it was like a kind of even game and Milan draw it, everybody that's disappointing. We did this, we did that. But a 1-1 draw, whatever. It's the manner. It's always the fashion. It's always how it is in the moment. It just feels, again, 2 points lost versus 1 point gained. That's all. That's all it is. So we move on. We handle the results in the Coppa Italia. We handle what we have to do on the weekend. Hope some results fall our way with Napoli, Juve, and you see how it shapes up. There's so many games left, guys. There's so many games left. So don't be all doom and gloom here. There's a lot of football left to be played.
No, doom and gloom to Milan fans. Come on, man. They're.
I can only imagine the comments.
I love all you guys.
These results, they hurt, but we've been through it.
We've been through it. Oh, me and Matt.
Remember the derby, the Maricardi late header with Donnarumma came out and we lost that game.
There was the hat trick one.
No, the one where Donnarumma came off.
I know. No, I know. I'm just rattling off
the
others.
Lukaku, Terra.
Benevento. I mean, we
Yeah,
just
yeah,
went
like
through a whole decade of it. I don't have to recap it
yeah, it's
to
just
know. You know,
those hurt more
it's
than this, so I'm not.
bro. I root for the fucking Jets and Mets. I
Yeah,
don't get this.
yeah, you're
This is
miserable
nothing.
right now.
People, the larger fan bases don't even understand. Like this is Milan's
Mhm.
like this is cool for me. This is fun. Like I get to enjoy a sport. You know, like I get to enjoy basketball, and sometimes like you deal with your club is basically the Roma of the NFL almost. Not really like capital wise, but I mean, there's always some way to break your heart despite fielding
Yeah,
good teams.
yeah, I'm
There's always
ready to get hurt again, but we're in the playoffs. So speaking of the Vikings, of
your
course.
defense, bro, just like Milan's.
Yeah.
It's their crutch. But Milan are
Yeah.
gonna have to figure it out. There's plenty of games left. They're gonna have to play for a trophy in the coming 10 days or so. For the Supercoppa, that's
Mhm.
definitely very exciting. In Coppa Italia to get back in that
Mhm.
chase. We do have Spurs in the Champions League as well. That's when Zlatan should be returning. There's positive vibes around. Ismail Benacer just renewed. Okay, so it's a new
Leao looks
era
like he's
of
renewing
Milan.
too. So
Yes, yeah. So good things are coming. But good for Roma, I guess, to get those points. Happy household for myself and my family today. But other than that, check us out on the State of Play podcast. We're going to be having one this week. Roberto Rojas officially confirmed for that. So we're going to be talking more on the Greg Berhalter situation. So if Matt is able to join us, and then we're also going to have to explain American nepotism to Pet. It's going to be very interesting. I suggest you guys tune in to that. Anything else left? Do you have anything coming for Football Italia?
no. Um, I'll keep you posted.
Okay, keep
Yeah,
everyone posted.
sometimes if I'm feeling it,
He doesn't even know what he's working on. All right,
I'm just
guys.
all over the place.
Wait, we have one more comment before we head out. Everybody tied, but no believes it. Well, no, Sensei Coco, Juve won, so you can't forget
Yeah.
that. Juve are on level with us now. But hey, what are you gonna do? It happens. Appreciate everyone tuning in again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitch. Follow at AC Milan Bros. We're trying to get more clips and upload the full videos. When everything is there. Again, if you missed any portion of this, you can go into the YouTube channel, click under live for Martino Puccio. You'll see the past broadcast. You're going to be able to see this one. Other than that, thank you guys so much and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.